Pennsylvania Democratic candidate John Fetterman would not confirm whether he'd release his medical records to the public. Here's what he said in an interview with CNN's Don Lemon. Watch.
I think we've been pretty transparent. We've had our doctors just be very clear that they're here, that we're able to and fit to serve. And from my point, we've also been very transparent in terms of showing up at a debate and very transparent about having events in front of thousands and thousands of Pennsylvanians for months. And it was no secret that I was going to miss some words. I was going to mush some words together. And as we've been very clear in the debate and during this interview, I've been using captioning as well. True. I believe we've been pretty transparent to give all the voters to make it their choice.
And listen, I'm asking the question for the voters because then voters may wonder, is there a reason that you don't want your doctors to take questions? That's why I keep asking this.
I just believe that we have our doctors just weigh in on that, and they believe that I'm fit to serve.
Fetterman's ability to serve as senator has come under scrutiny since he suffered a stroke earlier this year, and he's been transparent about relying on closed captioning. He's continuing to campaign, but questions still remain. Lemon pressed him on an issue on the ballot, inflation. Let's watch that.
No, I just do. I think that simply is also, we have this talk about the trillions in massive tax cuts to the corporate tax structure as well. True. Trillions of dollars that have added to the deficit, and now they still want to support those as well. True.
Yeah. So a couple of things, I guess. It's interesting that Don Lemon asked why the doctor won't submit to questioning. I never heard that phrase before. I've heard people calling for additional medical records to be released. That's a new one to me, and it might not work against Fetterman's favor as long as the doctor is prepped to not disclose things that he shouldn't disclose.
Remember when Trump's doctor would come out and say, this is a healthy patient, let me tell you.
I mean, so that's the other thing.
That's what would be good for Fetterman.
What are you looking for? Like, did anybody believe it when Trump said, my doctor tells me I'm the healthiest 70-whatever-year-old man that's ever existed on the planet? Yeah. A man who brags about exclusively eating McDonald's. Look, I'm not a medical professional. Maybe he is the healthiest 70-something man on the planet. But in some ways, all of this seems rather performative. This happened when Bernie Sanders had his heart attack. He released medical records, and they just kept saying, release more medical records.
Sure.
And it's a bottomless pit. All you have to do is keep asking the question. It's like asking, why do you beat your wife? You can deny it at the end of the day, but there's never any end to it. Other candidates who are more favorably viewed by the establishment, Bloomberg has had a stent procedure. No one really asked about what that was about or whether or not he had had a heart attack. Joe Biden has had a brain surgery. Nobody really interrogates that. So there is something that seems a little pretextual about some of this. And I would like people to be asking more specifically what information they're after and what they think it's going to tell them that they don't already know about Fetterman's condition. I
mean, I think that's broadly true, but in this case, I guess I would not ever mind hearing more, specifically in this case, from medical experts about because we can see the impairment in his ability to speak, the missing words, that kind of the needing to read closed captioning to understand. We can see all that, and so it's how likely it is that he's cognitively impaired. Is it just communication and everything? All the wheels are turning up there. It just takes him a little bit longer to say what he's going to say, and he might say the wrong thing, but he knows what he means in his head. Mm-hmm. Is that the case? And more clarity from a doctor, in theory, would not be bad to say if the doctor thinks it's the case. No. If all the wheels are turning properly, et cetera, what you're hearing is not what's going on in there. Or the alternative that what he's saying reflects that everything is not, that he has a road to recovery still, and he might in the future, he'll be better at speaking and he'll be better in the way he's thinking through these things. But no, what you're hearing reflects an actual underlying mental issue that he has right now, and so unlike a heart condition or where medical records are generally going to confirm, or Donald Trump is fit as a fiddle, etc., kind of nonsense. And I agree with you that the reporters are always going to ask for more, but this is a more unknown to just the broader public for what this means in terms of his cognitive functioning.
Yeah, I honestly think Fetterman would be benefited by it, and I thought when I was watching the debate, he should have brought this up. talk more about what the healing timeline looks like. What I want to know, like, I think like most people are willing to accept, especially if you're a Democrat and you want him to just help win the Senate, most people are willing to accept that he's not at fighting form now. He just had a stroke, but that we've had stroke victims in our lives. We understand that there is a kind of an arc that can happen in terms of healing. Just tell us what that timeline is like. I think that could actually give a lot more voters comfort in voting for someone who they wouldn't vote for now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, still, this is going to sound really cynical, but if Fetterman, if you just want Democrats to win, Fetterman being in Congress is a win in and of itself. But also compared to many other Congress members, I think I saw that something like a third of all of Congress have suffered a stroke at some point. You've got Dianne Feinstein, who by all accounts is not with it and hasn't been with it for years and continues to run for re-election. I mean, is the new standard going to be that all Congress members have to get some kind of cognitive test to make sure that they can stay in office? If not, I mean, Fetterman will just be one among many. And that's a horrible indictment of our political system, but it is what it is.
Modern medicine is really amazing. I remember when Gabrielle Giffords was shot in the head horrifically.
Yeah.
And not only did she survive that, which seemed like it would be impossible, she was shot in the head.
Yeah.
Not only did she survive, and then she had major cognitive impairment, and it was very sad, very hard for her, etc. But she has regained, you can see her speak now, and she's regained substantially. Now, it's a very difficult, grueling process that took years and years and years. But it is incredible what science can do for people now. So I get that, but it's not wrong to have questions.
I think what would be helpful for everyone to get perspective is to just have the Fetterman-Herschel Walker debate. where we can just really assess the communication standards before, after, in the absence of a stroke, and have a more honest conversation about what we really expect in terms of from our elected officials in terms of their ability to communicate.
I mean, I've never said that I would expect cognitive function from an elected person.
That's not on your must list, cognitive function.
Well, who would qualify?
Oh man, what a sorry state of affairs.
I know. All right, well, tomorrow on Rising, Teslin Figaro joins us to weigh in on the independent vote ahead of midterm elections, which will be next Tuesday. We're in the countdown period.
Yeah, well, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any of this election content or other content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we are now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And don't forget, our parent company Nexstar will have live election coverage of the 2022 midterms. That'll be November 8th. News Nation will be broadcasting live starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they're partnering with Decision Desk HQ to call the big races. They'll also have journalists from across the country, including from the Hill.
And of course, we'll have post-election coverage for you right here on Rising. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.